this hollow thing to this hollow thing. And that knocking has, of course, made the dogs go bananas. Well, given the short supply of screws of certain lengths, here's the pattern I've decided to go with. I'm going to put the long screw on the outside corner of each one of those wheels, and the 3 screws, the shorter ones, will be on the surrounding holes. So looking at this corner, that means that the long screw goes there and the shorter screws go around it. And I think that's going to work out. I decided not to drift the screw back too much because it's not really going to go anywhere near that bolt. And still thinking about it, but I don't think it's necessary. However, let me have a thinky about it. And I might drop a line there and see how much material. The drill bit I'm using is quite small, like 2.5 mm, so the hole produced is not going to be all that big, but it will jeopardize and compromise the material a little tiny bit. However, I think I'm okay, and it's probably a reasonable distance. Let me mark up a line and see what the actual distance is, and then I'll be able to make a rational decision there. Okay, after a little bit of measuring center to center, we're looking at 12 millimeters distance between that tensioning bolt and the screw that's going to go in there. So I'm thinking we're okay. You never know. I may end up remounting these feet someday, but we'll see. I'm figuring that's probably going to be okay, considering the fact that I'm really not removing that much material, but I did want to make sure that I wasn't doing something. It could be that the diameter of that bolt head threw me off a little bit. It's always worthwhile to just take your time and double measure, and that's what I've done. Feeling okay with proceeding now, and that's what I'm going to do. Here's the first 2 wheels mounted. As you can see, I've mounted the locking wheel on the front, so we're able to stop the KALLAX rolling around. And there's the free wheel on the back. It went fairly well. I just used a 2.5 millimeter drill bit and plunged it into the material to the approximate length of the screws. As I mentioned before, I used a longer screw on that outside corner. It might be 2 inches long, and the rest of the 3 are 1 1/4. Hopefully that's long enough to be able to withstand the stresses. Looking good so far. I have 2 left to do. This process has gone fairly fast, and hopefully the next little bit of footage you see will be the KALLAX on its new rolling feet. Here's the KALLAX with its feet on and its back installed. Not so hot looking from this end, but that's the end where you sit. What we're going to do is look at it from this end a lot, and that's looking a little better. So, there's one of the little dogs in photo. Meet Benny, the curious Pomeranian. So here we go. This KALLAX is now upright, and the next challenge is to integrate this tabletop with that base. And like I said, I'm going to do a 5 centimeter lip right there. And there's Bella, the other inquisitive Pomeranian, right there. And I'm going to flip the front to back, because the front on this desk has been Well, it's been rubbed up on by innumerable people working at this desk for many, many years, whereas the back is looking a little more pristine in terms of chipping and wear. So what I've done is I've just taken a moment to mark the back with an X, which is now going to be the new front, unless some magical thing happens to change my mind. As you can see, this desk is in pretty rough shape, so peeling and chipping, all kinds of bad stuff, but you know, it was pretty much free. And I only need the top, and the top's looking okay. With a little bit of love, and this is going to be a nice looking project. So next step is to take this tabletop apart, and I just might flip it over and put it on a blanket on the ground, just for ease of manipulating things, so I'm not working upside down and stuff like that, because I don't feel like being a gymnast today. So we'll see if I can pull that off. So the next thing you're probably going to see is this desk disassembled. Really easy to take this desk apart. And upside down in this tiled area, and the KALLAX will be sitting upside down also on top of it, and I'll be figuring out how to affix this hollow thing to this hollow thing. And that knocking has, of course, made the dogs go bananas. We're getting close to being completed with this project. As you can see, the KALLAX has been laid on top of the desktop, which has been removed from its base, and this is like a stiffener or tensioner here. Got these little angle brackets in there. They don't really have to do much other than just keep everything together, so I didn't put anything too beefy in, although I do have slightly bigger versions if these guys don't work out. And I'm going to put in 6 of them. Hopefully there's enough meat hanging off the back of that thing to catch the screw. I know it will in the on the sides there. I know there's material there. The big concern is whether or not there's anything under that hole in the center. If not, I'll go for a longer L bracket, an asymmetric one that's longer on one arm than the other, and put that in. It'll cover whatever hole may have resulted. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 attachment points on each side, and overall this project is shaping up. The wheels went on no problem. They were easy, and so now it's just a matter of 12 holes, 12 screws, and we'll be done. Then we flip this puppy over and start using it. So that's IKEA hacking. So far so good, and I have parts to do other stuff with. And of course I also have lots of little salvaged bits and pieces. One of the things I did use was I used the dowel to make sure my spacing was okay on both sides. In other words, to more or less center up. There's not much between the lengths of these two items, so that's more just for assembly. I mean, very few people I think would check to see, but I think we unconsciously recognize these things when we see things are a little bit off, and we don't want them to be a little bit off. So let me get down to drawing circles and drilling little holes and putting in screws, and then we will have the final product and the reveal, which is going to be the next segment. And there you have it. This is the reveal of the KALLAX plus IKEA desk of unknown name integration project. As you can see, we've purchased a couple of high stools, which also fit under the counter in the kitchen, so they serve double duty. And the countertop height of the desktop leaves plenty of room for knees. Lots of storage in there, and the storage has been integrated with a back so things won't fall out of the top, and the bottom is an open bottom to allow some light through. I may end up fully closing that back eventually, but we're just going to give this thing a spin, put wheels on it. Front wheel is a locker, rear wheel kind of rolls free, and looking okay. I think it's a reasonable project. We drifted the top in by 1 centimeter because there just wasn't anything underneath the 5 centimeter lip, but there was something to screw into under a 4 centimeter lip. So the only consideration that I would put on here, if we can find it, is maybe getting a 5th wheel and putting it on a little tiny extension out the front, because this table is just a wee little bit tippy. Now it might be less tippy once we get some stuff like plates and things loaded into the base. Also, these things are inherently tippy by the fact of their design. Had I elected to put static feet on there, I think it would be more stable, but now that we know it's tippy, we can manage that situation, and hopefully I'll never do a video of the KALLAX having toppled over and stuff all over the ground. So I have to say this went fairly well. I mean, assembling the parts took the longest time. I had to go off and think about the design. We started off with a straight up KALLAX and a desktop and no wheels, of course. And that's ended up working out. So we have an area where we can, kind of like a bar, where we can sit, enjoy a meal, and eventually enjoy some entertainment on the wall. And I have to say I'm pleased that it worked out as well as it did. There were no real hiccups on this project, actually. This one just kind of came together real smooth like. There was no disastrous moment that put me back by hours. I just followed the plan more or less. Moved thing a centimeter here, a centimeter there, and nothing broke, none of the tools broke, so that's always a happy project. Of course, we got to get rid of some of our extra furniture. As you can see, we've got too much because we had to swap out one thing for another, so we're currently getting rid of some furniture. But once this room is cleared out, it's going to be quite useful to us. And I have to say, project complete. Great success, as we say in the maker world. And I suppose that's it for now. So take care and keep making. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, and leaving me a comment. I really enjoy making these videos, and I want to know from you how I can make them better. The whole point of these videos is to demonstrate that if I can do something, you can do it too. Well, that's it for now. So long, and remember, keep making.